The desert can feel endless. Heat, silence, and distance blur together until time seems to slow. For the people waiting at the base of Mount Sinai, each day feels longer than the last. Moses has been gone for weeks. The mountain, once full of cloud and thunder, now stands still. In the biblical account, this is a moment of tension. A nation recently freed from slavery faces its first true test, not of strength, but of patience. They have witnessed miracles. They have walked away from the world's most powerful empire. But faith does not always grow in the same speed as freedom. The people begin to feel abandoned. Their leader is gone. Their purpose is unclear. Their fears rise faster than their confidence. In this atmosphere of uncertainty, the pressure shifts toward Aaron, who remains with the people. They ask for something visible, something familiar, something to represent the God who brought them out of Egypt. What they ask for is not a new religion, but a physical symbol, tangible enough to calm their fear. Aaron gathers gold, earrings, ornaments, fragments of personal history. The metal is melted, shaped, and formed into the image of a calf. In the ancient world, a calf or young bull symbolized strength, fertility, and protection. For the Israelites, who had lived among Egyptian images and rituals for generations, this form would have felt familiar, something recognizable, reassuring, solid. But according to the text, this act becomes a turning point, a moment when fear replaces trust, and symbolism replaces obedience. A festival follows, not a rejection of God, but an attempt to worship in a way they understand. A way rooted in their old life, not in the new covenant being formed. While this unfolds, Moses is still on the mountain. There, he receives the tablets, stone engraved not by human hands, but described in the narrative as written by God. These tablets represent law, order, and relationship. They mark a covenant forming between a liberated people and the one who freed them. But the moment Moses descends, the contrast between the divine order above and the chaos below becomes clear. From a distance, he sees movement. He hears sound, not of war, not of suffering, but of celebration. The scene he finds is not simply idolatry. It is a community losing its structure, forgetting the discipline required to remain free. Freedom without direction can become confusion, confusion can become imitation, and imitation can become rebellion. Moses breaks the tablets, not out of anger alone, but as a symbolic act. The covenant they are meant to uphold has already been violated before it was even delivered. He burns the calf, grinds it to powder, scatters it on water. This is more than destruction. It is a demonstration that false foundations cannot endure. The golden calf, though beautiful and solid, becomes dust, unable to stand against truth. The aftermath is serious. The narrative describes consequences, not abstract, but direct. A community is confronted with the weight of its actions, the cost of forgetting the very principles that were meant to define it. This event becomes one of the most significant failures in the history of Israel, but it is also a moment of revelation. It shows the fragility of faith when confronted with uncertainty. It exposes how easily people return to what feels familiar, even when it contradicts their future. In the following chapters, Moses returns to the mountain. The covenant is renewed, new tablets are made, order is restored. But the memory of the golden calf remains, a lesson carried through generations, a reminder that faith is not maintained through symbols, but through trust, that freedom requires discipline, that leadership must carry responsibility, even when people are confused, afraid, or impatient. The golden calf is not just an ancient story. It reflects a human pattern, the search for something visible to replace what feels distant, the temptation to lean on tangible comfort instead of enduring uncertainty, the struggle to trust what cannot be seen. The people at Sinai were not evil, they were human, and in their fear, they reached for something that made sense to them. This moment stands in the biblical record as a warning and a mirror. It invites every generation to consider what forms of fear shape their choices and what golden calves they create when trust becomes difficult. The desert remains silent, the mountain remains still, and the story of the golden calf endures, not as a tale of ancient failure, but as a reminder of the fragile space between faith and fear.